Well, I put the tree up and I got help taking it down, hadn't I?
Yeah.
I'm just going to get a little bit of footage taking this down. I know we got a full day. What would you find on a tea drinker's Christmas tree but a teapot and teacups? And I'll put up the watering can because I'm a gardener. Well, it's January 1st. It's New Year's Day. I'm in here taking down the Christmas tree. Donald helped me take some things down, and then he had to go. He had some things he had to do today. These are all the specialty ornaments and just packing this stuff up. That's what I'm in here doing today. And then I'm going in there and start on our traditional New Year's recipes, our traditional New Year's menu that we eat every year. Hello, you're watching Much Ado About Something, and I'm Donna. Well, Happy New Year. It's 2023, and it's a beautiful new year. The sun's shining here. I don't know what it's like there at your house where you're at, but I'll give you a sneak peek out the window here. You can see that sun is shining out there today, and it is a beautiful day. Well, I am inside here taking down the Christmas tree. I already got it down. It's boxed up here. And so here are all the ornaments. I've got them back into their shoe boxes and all the containers that I've got them stored in. And so I've got that much done. Well, I'm going to take a little break now and go in here and fix our traditional New Year's Eve or our New Year's meal, the meal that we make every year. And today is January 1st, and it starts the Three Rivers Challenge about cleaning out your pantry. And I don't know if this will qualify for that or not, because last year I was hospitalized. And so I didn't get to eat my black-eyed peas. These are from last year. But I'm going to fix them this year. And so I thought I'd just bring y'all along with me as I got all that stuff started. Now, the traditional New Year's recipe is black-eyed peas, greens, and hog jaw. Now, if you don't have hog jaw, that's okay. You can use any kind of side meat, any kind of pork seasoning that you have, the traditional recipe for a Southern Appalachian New Year's Day meal. Now, traditionally, it would be hog jaw, but if you don't have hog jaw, any kind of a seasoned pork that you would like to use will be perfectly okay. I'm just going to put a few pieces of this pork in here. I've had my pan heating up. You can see this is the pan that I bought secondhand, and it's well used. It's been a well-loved pan. It's a cast iron with enamel. Now, I've put quite a bit of that seasoning in, and I'm rendering it down right here. And I'm going to go ahead and chop up an onion. And I'm going to put an onion in there with that pork seasoning that I've got in that pot. I'm going to chop this onion up and just go ahead and add a whole onion in this pot. I'm going to chop it up kind of small. Now, traditionally, this meal would have a specific cut of pork. It would be hog jaw. But I'm doing the Three Rivers Challenge, Pantry Challenge, and I don't have hog jaw on hand. I have this side meat, which will add the same flavor, and it'll be just as delicious. So I'm going to go ahead and make my traditional New Year's Day meal using hog side meat and a chopped up onion. And I'm going to let that go ahead and brown and cook down while I go over here and go through these black-eyed peas that I've got, which I got out of the pantry from last year. Now, because I didn't buy fresh collards, and the collards that I have, the greens that I have, I didn't buy fresh greens before this challenge. I only have 2 little green leaves, and I'm not going to be able to use those. That wouldn't be enough. So I'm going to use what I have in my pantry. And I have these Margaret Holmes seasoned collard greens. And I have these southern style collard greens. Now, you don't have to eat collards. They can be any kind of greens. And that would be a traditional southern Appalachian meal for New Year's. I am using collards because I love the flavor of them. I think they're delicious, and that's what I have on hand, so that's what I'll be eating. But many years we have ate turnip greens or mixed greens. And normally I have those greens fresh, and that's how I make them. But this year, because I'm doing the pantry challenge, I'm going to eat what I have in my pantry. And these are my favorite. The Margaret Holmes are my favorite. Glories are pretty good, but Margaret Holmes are my favorite. Now, the Glory greens, they tell you that they're made in the United States, but they don't tell you where. The Margaret Holmes, they're made in Effingham, South Carolina. And so I know people that's worked at this canning plant for these, and if you want something that's as close to the homemade taste that you can get, Margaret Holmes, that's the one for us. Now, there are a lot of people that can tell you what all this means, what this old-fashioned meal means. Now, this Ragin' Cajun seasoned black-eyed peas, they come with a seasoning. I'm not going to use this seasoning packet, but they do come with a seasoning packet. I'm just going to go ahead and take this pound of black-eyed peas. I'm going to pick through them and make sure there's not anything in them that shouldn't be in them. Just like you would do any dried bean product. Just going to check them, make sure there's no rocks, no dirt, no stems. Anything that shouldn't be in these beans. And then, of course, I'm going to wash them. And make sure they're good and clean. Now, most of your beans come with good instructions on the back. It'll tell you how to cook. How to cook your black-eyed peas. Now, I'm just going to put my good, clean, picked, and washed black-eyed peas in this pot. And I'm going to cover them with water. Some people use chicken stock. I don't have to use chicken stock because I seasoned this with a lot of good meat. There's a lot of good seasoning in there, and I won't need the chicken stock. But you do what you think's best. If you think you need more flavor, you're not using as much meat, or you're not using any meat, then go ahead and put your chicken stock in. I'm going to go ahead and salt these. And bring them up to a boil for 2.5 minutes. Bring them up to a boil and cook them for 2.5 hours. Now once these get to boiling and boiling really good and cooking, I'll check the water level. I'll boil them down until the water goes down, and then I'll add more water to them and keep these things cooking until these beans get good and tender. Well, our black-eyed peas and pork is done. Our greens are done. Our collard greens. And the cornbread's still in the oven, but I'm going to go ahead and use some cornbread that I baked yesterday. And that'll be just fine. I'll tell you a little bit about what the meal stands for as I plate it up here. Of course, cornbread stands for gold because it's a golden color. All of this is a prosperity meal. Supposedly, you eat all this stuff so that you'll prosper in a year ahead. I guess it's kind of like a superstitious thing, which I am not superstitious. I don't believe that this is going to make me have a better year. I just think it's a tradition because our family always ate it, and it was really good. The cornbread is golden, so it symbolizes wealth. The black-eyed peas symbolize coins because if you drop dried beans and they scatter across the floor, they sound like coins. And of course the pork, pigs root forward. That's a striving to go forward. So the pork is prosperity. And of course the greens symbolize the color of money. And so all of this is what all of this is. It's a prosperity meal. You can use any kind of dried beans, but black-eyed peas are traditional. I have side meat in here, just ham pieces and different pieces of the hog. But most people use hog jowl from where I was around. That's the slices. It looks almost like fatback or side meat, but it's actually the pig's jaw that's been sliced. That's what they usually cook in New Year's in my neck of the woods. And this is collard greens, and any greens will do. You can use cabbage, not all together, but separately. You can make cooked cabbage, or you can make cooked turnip greens or cooked collard greens. I grew up with turnip greens. Donald grew up with collard greens, and so collards are what we're having this year. Now I've got our cornbread crumbled up in our bowls, and I'm just going to ladle on some beans and some black-eyed peas and some greens. Plating it up. Here, we're going to go ahead and plate it up. Here's the black-eyed peas. You can see it's got plenty of juice for the beans. That's called pot liquor. That goes over your cornbread and soaks down in there. Same way with your greens. And of course, me and Donald like zucchini relish or some kind of chow or relish on there. So I'll be putting that on the side. Donald sometimes likes tomatoes.
Squash relish.
Yeah, squash relish, chow. But sometimes you like tomatoes with your beans. Going to add a little bit more salt and pepper. We like to add a little bit of cayenne pepper to our collards. And this is our New Year's traditional Appalachian meal. Thank you for joining me today, and like always, until next time.